my capstone, I've implemented multiple methodologies to help answer my research question. How can hybrid media convey the joy of everyday activities through the eyes of an imaginative adult in a playful stop-motion production? The overarching methodology used for my project is practice-based research. Practice-based research is described by Gerry A as a research strategy that is carried out through practice, using predominantly methodologies and specific methods familiar to us as practitioners in the visual arts. Firstly, I use pre-visualization, using methods like brainstorming, concept art, and mood boards to garner a general idea of what I wanted from my project, including that I wanted to create a mixed media stop-motion film. After I had this base idea, I expanded on my visualization, trying to view my character concept sketches through a 3D lens as I'd be making a puppet. I found myself trying to sculpt him out of any materials I could access, including blue tack and clay. This helped me to pre-visualize my final puppet. I also started to grasp the narrative of my story for using storyboarding, giving me a method to revise my composition and narrative. Secondly, to ground my research question in reality, I had to see how my work sits in relation to other creative works and academic texts. Using contextualization, I was able to relate my work to the likes of Pingu and Smiling Friends, asking myself why they are successful and how I can integrate relevant successes into my short film. For example, how Pingu could be universally relatable due to its lack of language and relatable day-in-the-life narrative, or Smiling Friends' multimedia approach and vibrant color palette. I also found myself psychoanalyzing my film and doing research into relevant areas like ADHD, which I want to incorporate into my character. This granted me a greater understanding of ADHD, in which I was able to apply to my character's personality. Lastly, I explored the use of mixed media in film. This made me realize the grandeur of mixed media, that it's not always collaged aesthetics, it's often subtle like CGI integration in film. Knowing now that mixed media isn't my film's aesthetic, it's a tool. Using autoethnography, I delve deeper into the themes of my narrative, gaining society's perspective. Carolyn Ellis, in her book The Ethnographic One, a methodological novel about autoethnography, describes autoethnography as research, writing, story, and method that connect the autobiographical and personal to the cultural, social, and political. My autobiographical personal perspective is that we live in a fast-paced society surrounded by technology, which gives us access to what everyone's doing at whatever time. I find this makes us despise everyday activities, that they're not grand enough, that we could be doing better things with our lives. I want my short film to encompass the joy that comes along with doing simple things, like brushing your teeth or going to the supermarket. I also reflected on my inner self, using the method of diary writing. Keeping this diary made me realize how enjoyable monotonous tasks can be if you live in the moment and view them as a break from the grind of life rather than a chore. I want to connect this personal perspective to a societal perspective through user feedback. I'm doing this by using interviewing as a method, asking a diverse group of people about their thoughts on this concept and collecting data. For example, Emma22 said that people get caught in a cycle, and it's not the act but more so the routine of necessary tasks that can be draining. Tasks that my research group particularly didn't enjoy included laundry and washing their hair. I wanted to include these experiences in my short film to show the joy that they can bring through my bright childlike aesthetics. This research on society therefore influences my writing and connects a societal phenomena to my own. A methodology I'm planning to expand on later is user feedback, getting feedback from different audiences to make sure my film is understandable by different groups. I will do this by sitting them down and having a viewing of my finished scene, writing down each person's interpretations and their thoughts on how I can improve the narrative or add to the visuals. Using practice-based research has enabled me to gain a greater understanding of why I am making the decisions that I am, and therefore resulting in a more successful finished product. My pre-visualization helped to ground my visuals in its specific hybrid media vibrant aesthetic. Contextualization related my work to creative and academic text, giving me a greater understanding of my character and narrative. Autoethnography gave me the chance to explore themes of society, influencing my film's overall narrative. If I was to critique my practice-based research, I would like to gain a larger age range for my user feedback interviews, as I was only able to interview people in their 20s. I feel as though an older audience would have a deeper understanding of the feelings a fast-paced society induces.